Hey, this is Tim Miller. While the House Republicans are acting insane for the whole world to see, things in the Senate are not any better. And the inmates are taking over the asylum. Mitch McConnell has totally lost control. The MAGA senators are bullying Mitch, and they are looking for a Jim Jordan of their own to take over the Senate. Let's start here. You might not have heard of John Barrasso. He's a Republican senator from Wyoming. He's in the leadership. He's not the kind of guy you see on cable TV that much, but he's a guy that likes power, and he's a guy that sees that maybe there's going to be an opening at the head of the Republican Senate leadership. So what did he do this week? He went out and made an early endorsement of Kari Lake for Senate. Yeah, that's right. Kari Lake, the only person more obsessed with election denialism than Donald Trump.
It's funny, I talked to President Trump. He goes, I love it. No matter what I ask you, you always bring it right back to the election. I can ask you what the weather's like in Arizona, and you'll say, well, it's nice, but how do I enjoy it when our elections are stolen and we don't have a country? Kari, how are the kids doing? Well, Leo just graduated, but I'm worried about him because our elections are rotten and dirty and filthy and we don't have a country.
I think Kari Lake is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And John Barrasso, who's one of these quieter Republicans that you might think maybe is normal behind the scenes, is out there saying, no, we want Kari Lake to be our Senate nominee. Like, why would somebody do that? You would think that Republicans might not pick a already known loser to be their Senate nominee in Arizona, that they might, want to go back to somebody more normal, a Jeff Flake, a John McCain type. But no, John Barrasso is putting all his chips behind Lake. Here's why. Because they are seeing what's happening over in the House. They know that that if you want to be a leader in the Republican Party in the future, you need to embrace the MAGA. You need to embrace the crazy. And they've seen how Jim Jordan is being rewarded, for his unabashed advancement of conspiracy theories about the Biden family and about the 2020 election. And, they're seeing that's working for him as far as getting power. So they're trying to do the same thing. What are some other examples of the fact that Mitch McConnell has lost control of the crazies in his own conference? Well, right now, as far as our military is concerned, Tuberville has blocked Vice Admiral Charles Cooper. He was going to be the deputy commander of U.S. military operations in the Middle East, the second highest ranking officer in the region. This is madness. Like in the middle of a hot war in the Middle East, we cannot confirm our military leaders because one former football coach refuses to let them through. And this is not a guy, by the way, that has traditional conservative national security views on the Middle East. Here's Tuberville doing an interview about the conflict.
Problem is when you start picking sides in the Middle East, it could get really messy very quick. And you have nuclear weapons could be involved, and when that happens, the future of not just our country but the world could be at stake.
That's the kind of rhetoric that we're hearing from the squad on the far left. That is the type of isolationist rhetoric that used to be totally verboten in the Republican Party. And Mitch McConnell, who's a longtime neocon, strong national defense, traditional Republican, you would think that he would do what is necessary to isolate a voice like Tuberville, somebody that has no national security experience, somebody that sounds like he's a far leftist when he's talking about Israel-Palestine conflict, somebody that's blocking military promotions because of some really extreme anti-abortion views. How is Mitch McConnell getting pushed around by this guy? Another example of this, the other isolationist in his conference, Rand Paul. Rand Paul is blocking U.S. ambassadors being promoted for the first time ever. Egypt, Israel, Jordan, and Lebanon have no confirmed U.S. ambassadors. Egypt, Israel, Jordan, and Lebanon, those are all pretty fucking important countries right now. You might think that we would want to have a pretty streamlined communication with those countries, given what's happening, in Gaza. But those ambassadorships are being blocked. Why? Because Rand Paul wants the government to release more information about the COVID-19 origins. This is tinfoil hat type stuff. How are those things even related? Are there not other vehicles for Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer and the ostensible Senate leadership to kind of redirect Rand Paul to? so that we're not blocking these critical offices? And this is Mitch McConnell right now being revealed to being an emperor with no clothes. And it's a very familiar feeling, right? Because, somehow Mitch managed to keep control of his caucus while House Republicans were the ones that was always acting crazy. This is something that would happen to John Boehner or Paul Ryan or Kevin McCarthy, where the far right, the Tea Party, the MAGA members of the conference would bully them, would push them around, and eventually would push them out of leadership. That never happened to Mitch McConnell. It's happening now. It's happening in part because of his health. It's happening in part because Donald Trump hates him. It's happening in part because, maybe he's just lost a step. And it's happening in part because these senators see what's happening in the House. They realize that the Republican Party voters love the crazy, want the crazy, and that is empowering them to push Mitch McConnell around and to prevent him from having any sort of control over what is happening in Congress. So as a result, we have two totally dysfunctional houses. So that's what this party is right now. Kari Lake, Jim Jordan, Donald Trump. These are the people with the juice. These are the people with the power. The Mitch McConnells of the world are on the way out. Hey, if you like this video and our content, I'd love for you to become a Bulwark Plus member. You get bonus podcasts, you get bonus newsletters, you get bonus takes from me that maybe don't come up on the YouTube feed. You can try it out for free at thebulwark.com/free trial. The link is below in the description. We'd love to have you as a member of our community. We have great commenters and great opportunities for people who want to protect democracy.